I got a story to tell of a proud ship that served her people well. Well, the Bluenose was her name, and she never lost a race. She won herself a place in the history of Canada. Blow winds blow, for the Bluenose is sailing once again. Beat to the windward once more, and up jib aboard, so let's be forward, for your country will be proud once again of the ship and the men who sailed her smartly into victory. Blow winds blow, for the Bluenose is sailing once again. Built in a Nova Scotia town, where the shipwrights had earned their world renown. Down in Lunenburg they built a living legend of skill, sweat and pride.
An elf has said, I'm rich like Rockefeller, gold dust.
What is it? Someone else is losing the clue. Yeah. You stay on that over. Oh my God!
Oh, jeez.
Hi there.
Rick's nephews?
Hi, Rick. How are you?
No,
You're not
Rick's
Rick.
nephews.
No, these are my
These are your
nephews.
nephews?
Yes, and my sister-in-law.
Hi.
My
how are
dad's
you?
back here
How do
somewhere.
you do?
Get him up
This
there.
is-
Hi, Jim. How are you?
Hi.
Good to see you.
Very nice to meet you. Willie.
Kim, meet Jim Kinley over here.
There you go, Jim.
That's good. How are you? Now,
Ran several times for the Liberal Party, but I'm converting him.
This time.
I think it's Montreal time.
Montreal turn.
My daughter bought it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Hi, how are you? Oh, very good to see you here.
Get around here, Kim.
Hello.
Kim, Rick wants a picture with his nephews.
That's great, guys. Ken's over here.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Welcome. Kim, turn around here.
Give me a Rick.
Oh, great. Okay. Nice to be here. Great to meet you. Thank you. I'm delighted to be here. Nice to meet you.
Hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
Pretty good, thank you.
Me too.
Nice to meet you. You got it? How was it all? Good luck.
Thank you
All the
very
best.
much.
Good
Thank
to
you.
have you with us.
Well, it's lovely to be here. Thanks for coming.
There's a hand over here, Kim. Get in with her. I'll take the picture. Kim? No, Kim? Hey, this young lady wants to get a pic with you.
Pleasure to have you.
Whoops. Kim? Right there with this young lady. There you go.
Here, Lynn, do you want to shake her hand? Prime Minister.
Whoops. There's a hand back here. I missed you.
Hi, how are you doing? Lynn, do you want to shake her hand? Hi. This is a strange thing that grown-ups do. It's not handshake. Peculiar, but it works. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming to this. How are you doing? Wonderful. It's beautiful day.
She's on this side.
Thank
When
you.
you get up to her on
Not
this
too
side.
sunny. How are you?
Say hi to Don Eisner over here.
Hello, Prime Minister. Welcome to Lunenburg. Thank you for coming.
Oh, it's a real pleasure. Just wonderful to be here.
Hi, Aurora. Miss Campbell. Miss Campbell. Jerry. How you doing?
Kim?
Make it work now. Yes, indeed. And you're helpful. Yes.
Sorry.
How are you?
Big guy through here.
Hi, how do you do?
How you doing?
How are you today? Nice to meet you.
Remember Yvonne Thibault? Kim?
Nice meeting you.
Sorry.
Oh, thank you.
Say hi to Yvonne Thibault.
Yes, hi, how are you?
So is Nova.
Yes, great to see you.
How's the campaign
Congratulations.
going? Are you going to make it?
Who's going to make it?
Just don't hit your head. Oh, you want to say hello?
Hi, how are you? Nice to see you and good luck.
This is Swiss Swedish? Fine? Oh, okay. Okay.
Good to hear what you with the
Or I'll get beat up later.
She's
Watch
a
out.
lot taller than
She's
I
a
am.
Mountie. She's tough. Be
I
careful.
know.
She knows everything. It's amazing.
Oh.
There's all this knowledge in her head.
Hi, how you doing?
What are you going to do with flooring over fishing?
There's the little guy wants to say hello.
How do you do?
He's a Maple Leaf fan.
And Prime Minister, I trust that what you may see and hear today with your mingling with the people of the South Shore area will simply whet your appetite that you may have the opportunity to return again and again in months and years to come. We certainly welcome you most warmly to our community, and on behalf of its citizens, I would like to make a small presentation.
Very good.
That's like me.
It's a beautiful little story from the Lunenburg foundry, so Jim Kinley, you can take a bow wherever you are. I know you're here. Folks, I just want to very briefly say in introducing our Prime Minister, Kim, it's wonderful to welcome you to the South Shore for the second time in 3 months. I hope that we'll see you every 3 months down here. You're doing what so many Canadians do, and that is come to Lunenburg and to the South Shore and to Lunenburg. So we're delighted to see you, and we're delighted to see all the other visitors who are here, because I know not everybody here is from the South Shore. Now, it's great to welcome a Prime Minister who listens to people, who, as you have seen, is approachable, and who really represents change in a new dimension in Canadian politics, and a real exciting time in Canadian politics. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's give Kim Campbell a real welcome to Lunenburg and the South Shore.
Thank you very much, Peter. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm just delighted to be here. And actually, I must say that I'm looking around and seeing all these wonderful Tory hats. It's very reassuring. There are a number of things I want to say to you. First of all, there are a lot of people in this crowd today who took part in our leadership convention, and many of you supported me. And I want to take this opportunity to thank you. To thank you for your hard work, and thank you for putting your faith in me. It is an honor to lead a great political party. It's a particular honor to be the custodian of the great office of the Prime Minister of Canada. I am very, very honored to be Prime Minister of Canada, and I'm particularly honored to be the first woman Prime Minister of Canada and to share that pleasure with all of you. It doesn't take much arm twisting to get somebody into this particular neck of the woods. It is absolutely beautiful here. I was here just a short time ago in early May to speak at a fundraiser for Peter down at White Point Lodge, and we drove around the South Shore, and I understand why Peter doesn't like coming up to Ottawa, why he likes to be home in his riding. It is spectacularly beautiful here. And the people here are wonderful. You're warm, you're friendly, you're open. Some of you may know I have Nova Scotia roots myself. We go back to some time. In about 1870, my mother's family moved from Truro out to Vancouver Island in British Columbia. So I don't know whether in 5 generations I'm still from away or whether I can still claim to be from here. But it is a wonderful thing about our country that many of us have family and roots and friends in other parts of the country, and it connects us. It gives us a sense of community and brings us together. But it's also true that the issues that face us, that may face particular regions or communities, are not just issues confined to those communities. I'm sorry I'm a little late today because I had an excellent meeting in Mahone Bay with representatives of the fishing community. Fishermen themselves, plant workers, plant owners. And I see the signs, and the best one there actually is the one that says lose weight fast. Join the maritime fishery. If I thought it was that easy, I would. But it's a very, very serious issue. And I want to tell you that the meeting I just had in Mahone Bay was enormously helpful to me. In my view, the most important thing for those of us in public life is to go out and meet with Canadians and listen directly from them what their concerns are. You know, as Prime Minister, I have no end of briefing papers on my desk. But what I want to do is go out and hear from the people who are affected by the changes. And I think the fisheries question is probably the most significant issue facing Atlantic Canada in this decade. And it's not a regional issue, it's a national issue. It's a national problem. And as Prime Minister of Canada, I want to tell you that I am committed to using every resource, every bit of ingenuity that is available to the Government of Canada to try to provide some long-term stability and security for the fishing communities of Nova Scotia. What really struck me in my meeting today was the great realism around the table. And that's why it is so important to talk directly to people who are directly involved in difficult situations, because they are, above all, the people who understand the reality of the situation. I was really struck by the passionate commitment around the table to conserving the resource and the commitment to doing what was right and doing what was necessary to protect for the long term the ability of people to continue to make their living from the sea in this part of the country, and the recognition that without that resource, the future of many wonderful communities and the way of life that people value would be at risk. And I want to say to you that I share that commitment to finding a way to conserve the resource and to conserve a way of life that is fundamental to Canada. This is a country that's made up of a lot of different regions. You know, I come from Vancouver. I come from British Columbia, where obviously people think we're kind of flaky out there. And we're not flaky, we're just jet lagged when you meet us. But what has been so wonderful about being a member of Parliament has been the opportunity to travel this country and see the dozens and hundreds of wonderful ways that people experience being Canadian, and to recognize the contribution that's made from the variety of outlooks across this country to this great country and our national political culture. And Atlantic Canada is such an important part of that national political synthesis. The spirit of generosity here, the sense of community, it really is a very important part of what goes up to make the great Canadian spirit. And I just want to say to you how important it is to me to make sure that people can continue that way of life and continue to make that contribution that all Canadians benefit by. The most important reason for being here is to tell you and to tell you how much I appreciate working with Peter McCreath, and to thank all of you who send Peter McCreath to Ottawa. Thank you very, very much. One of the reasons why I and my colleagues have come to appreciate what the South Shore means in Nova Scotia, what Nova Scotia means in Canada, is because you have an articulate advocate in Peter McCreath, who is not known for hiding his light under a bushel, who does not walk softly and carry a big stick. He talks loudly and passionately and with great effect about the life here in Atlantic Canada, and he brings to the cabinet table with great effect the concerns that you all have. I am delighted to have Peter McCreath as a colleague. You know, I always think it's unfair when I sit in the House of Commons and people from Atlantic Canada get up, because you all have this remarkable gift of speaking. It's colorful. It's, I have this boring, bland British Columbia accent. I don't know. It just doesn't seem to cut it. And so, I think Peter McCreath represents the very best of that tradition. But it's because it's backed up by a lot of heart and a lot of passion and some really fundamental beliefs in some fundamental principles about social fairness, about the need of people to be able to express themselves and to find ways to ensure the prosperity of their families. And it's that commitment that gives so much force to Peter McCreath, not just as a great orator, but as a thoughtful member of Parliament. So I want to thank you today for your warm welcome. I want to tell you what a delight it is to be here. I want to thank the Mayor and thank your worship very much for honoring me with that gift. It truly is a symbol of Lunenburg. This is a wonderful part of the country, and I've been having a wonderful time since becoming Prime Minister, traveling this country, listening to Canadians, and learning. This is a wonderful country. You can learn a lot from it, and it is an honor to be Prime Minister. It's an honor to be a Prime Minister standing here in Lunenburg. Thank you very much for your welcome, and I hope to be back here as Prime Minister many times again. Thank you.
Prime Minister, I noticed a number of people have made little presentations of the Prime Minister. One was Warden Lee Noss from Lunenburg County, who's here. I see Ken Stretch is here today, and a number of Jim White, who was nominated last night in Annapolis Valley Heads. But it's great to have you here, Prime Minister. We have a couple of little gifts we'd like to present you as mementos of the occasion.
Somebody asked me when my birthday was. It's not today, but it might as well be.
I think you'll recognize that. Just slides up, Peter. Just slides up. Absolutely. I'll hold that. This is a picture. It should just slide up.
Oh, lovely. Oh, it's the escape of Lunenburg.
Purcell.
Where?
Purcell.
Isn't that beautiful?
It's a Purcell of Lunenburg. Once again, Prime Minister, thanks for coming to the South Shore. Come often. You'll always get a warm welcome and have a really good time. Hold it up so everybody can see it. The Prime Minister's going to circulate a little bit before she has to leave. I want to thank everybody for coming. I want to thank the people who worked so hard putting this together, people like Mike Baker and Danny Hahn and Sally Stevens and Nancy McNeil and everybody else. So have a great time, folks. Thanks very much.
The sun was setting in the west. The birds were singing on every tree. All nature seemed inclined for rest, but still there was no rest for me. Farewell to Nova Scotia, the sea-bound coast. Let your mountains dark and dreary be. For when I am far away on the briny ocean tossed, will you ever heave a sigh and a wish for me? I grieve to leave my native land. I grieve to leave my comrades all, and my parents whom I've always held so dear, and the bonny, bonny lass that I do adore. Farewell to Nova Scotia, the sea-bound coast. Let your mountains dark and dreary be. For when I am far away on the briny ocean tossed, will you ever heave a sigh and a wish for me? The drums they do beat and the wars do alarm. The captain calls, we must obey. So farewell, farewell to Nova Scotia's charms, for it's early in the morning, I am far, far away. Farewell to Nova Scotia, the sea-bound coast. Let your mountains dark